Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. It's week 3 of Action Master Month, and we're gonna upgrade our Action Masters here for the rest of the month. So we've been showing carded figures so far all year. Let's start by taking a look at somebody that's in a box. This would have been one of the less expensive box sets. This is Prowl with the Turbo Cycle. Of course, Prowl here would be released in 1990 with all the other Action Masters, and he would only be available in 1990, as here in America, the toy line would be discontinued by the end of the year. Prowl, of course, comes here with the Turbo Cycle. It's his main means of getting around, since he can't transform into a police car anymore. Unlike many of the other Action Master vehicles, when this thing is fully equipped out, there really isn't any room to take on another Action Master. Of course, it'd be a little challenging to try to get somebody else to sit here behind him on the backside, so as you can see, we can even get the bike in an action pose. Wasn't intending on that, but you can see we can get it in an action pose, leaning off to the side. So that's not too bad. That's actually kind of neat. Of course, let's get Prowl off the bike, and we'll take a good look at him. Get him straightened out here so that you can have a decent look at him. Of course, unfortunately, they don't really give him any stickers to pay homage to the original toy. The closest that we get of that is here on the back side, where it still has the light bar here on the top, but unfortunately that's painted. You can see on mine, paint's a little worn here. But at any rate, let's take a look at Prowl's articulation. He has the standard articulation for an Action Master, meaning you can turn his head from side to side. You can rotate his arm all the way around at the shoulder. He does have a metal bar holding his legs on. It allows him to move his legs up about 90 degrees, and he can bend at the knee about 90 degrees. He can also spread his legs apart about so far. Just something all the Action Masters can do, but you do want to be careful with that, as that can cause them to pop their legs free. Of course, Prowl can also carry some of the equipment from his bike. You can remove the gun from the motorcycle, and then that will become his gun. And just like with all the others that are in this toy size, an optional piece on the bike, in this case it's the fuel panel, can be removed, and it can be mounted in Prowl's other hand to be a makeshift shield. And in reality, that one doesn't look too bad. It's an improvement over Axer's, who has been reviewed. Unfortunately, Overrun and Starscream do not have decent shields with what they get, so that's the pity that only the two motorcycles have a decent shield. Oops. Now we're going to transform the Turbo Cycle now that we've put all the parts back on it. Of course, to do that, first thing we got to do is we remove the missiles from the side. And of course, we remove the gun as well. But you'll leave everything else for the moment. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the engine covers here and fold them down on the side, from the side, like that. Do the same thing with the one on the other side. She's a bit stiff, folks, so please do bear with me. There we go. Once those have been removed, been folded down, then you can just simply remove the unit from the bottom. Wiggle, wiggle. Whoops. One of them popped off here. Oh, they both did. Hold on just a moment. Alright, once we finally get this piece to remove, the next thing you're going to want to do is remove the wheel assembly from the side, like so. Then you'll rotate it so it's sideways and plug it in at the bottom, right where the engine covers were mounted. And then next, you'll take the engine cover unit itself, you'll fold this post here out in front, and then reattach it to this hole here on the front of the motorcycle. Like that. Then you're going to raise the rear portion of the motorcycle like so. There's also a black button over here that you would hit, and that brings out the cannon. Like that. And then you'll fold down the engines. And then we have here our gun emplacement unit. You would basically arm it by sticking a missile into the cannon. They optionally show you can store a spare missile here. And since Prowl would be expected to man this thing, he won't need his gun, so you'll stick his gun over there like so. And I guess Prowl stands back here and uses that to aim the mechanism and fire it. Of course, the instructions also show he can stand off here to the side and hold his gun and probably fire the thing remotely. But there it is, folks, in a nutshell, the gun emplacement mode. Kinda interesting, but could be better. Of course, this is the notorious part about getting Prowl complete in this toy, is the fact that he does have quite a number of loose parts. We even forgot to remove one here. There we go. This is all the loose available parts for it. We'll start off with the motorcycle itself. This is the completely stripped down model of the motorcycle with no pieces whatsoever. So as you can see, it's pretty bare bones without all the pieces to it. And of course we have the gas tank cover, which would also double as a shield for Prowl. It's hollow here on the back side, save for the 4 posts. This one in the middle is the one Prowl holds, but all of them are used to attach it to the bike. You got here the wheel assembly. If you're interested, both wheels do spin on this. But as you can also see, the plastic on it is kind of thin, so you do want to be careful with that, because you could break it. You do have the side covers. Of course, the side covers can come off of this piece, so as you saw on mine as I was trying to remove it. But another thing to also watch is this plastic in here. See right here from the front, this blue piece here, it is very thin plastic and it will break if you put a lot of stress on it. So be very careful with that. And next we have these pieces here. The engine intakes. Butterfingers. This one's the one for the right-hand side. And of course, there's one for the left. So you got to make sure you get both. Also have the gun, which is listed as a small cannon. And of course, with the gun barrel design here, kind of looks like your basic minigun. To a degree, it's not perfect, but that's what does come to mind. And then, of course, lastly, you have two of these missiles. And these missiles are easy to throw on the floor. These missiles are hollow on the backside. Dropped it on the table now. And they're connected with the standard post in the hole technique. Transformers used a lot. And that's all of the loose parts for the turbo cycle. Now let's get ready and take a look at Prowl's instructions as I kick the tripod. See here, the main page shows Prowl on the bike, and the other page is operating the cannon. A summary of the pieces. Obviously, as I showed you, there is more. And then how to fully gear up the motorcycle. And then how to start transforming it into a gun emplacement. Just on this one here, they don't list in the text to fold back the engine intakes, so mistake by Hasbro. Of course, here they claim that Prowl can be placed on the gun emplacement by putting in on the foot pegs located on the wheel hubs, but the wheel hubs are right here at the front, which would keep him away from operating the cannon. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, folks. And then how to put the stickers on the bike. No stickers for Prowl, but there's plenty for the bike. Now, as an added bonus for this Action Master, we do have here the box. You see, we got some rather wicked artwork here on the front. It's not the greatest. Well, of course, they don't have the gun here on the side. He's carrying a different type of gun. And of course, they show how to do it. They show the gun emplacement. And they list it with spring-loaded action. The spring-loaded action is basically what flips out the gun. That's about it. Of course, at the top, we got similar stuff that we always had with the Transformers. And the bottom just has him and the bike. And the same listings that were on there, except they on the instructions, except they list the engine cover / shield. So a little difference. The sides of the box just basically shows this, both modes of the toy. And then we even got the price sticker on this side. This one was apparently sold at a Lionel store, and it retailed for $8.97. On the back of the box, we have the 1990 mural highlighting the Action Masters. And, of course, the bio on the Action Masters. And then over here we have the power plans. Again, you question some of this stuff that they put on here. Like, what is a positron condenser system, and why is it located near his groin? At any rate, oh, and also here on the other side, we do have his robot points. He was worth 2.5 points. Here we have the tech spec. It lists him as an Autobot, and it uses an interesting picture that's not featured on the box, except it could be what the full picture of this up here in the corner. It gives his name as Prowl, and his function is military strategist, just like it had been before. And his motto is, logic is the ultimate weapon. A master with complex formulations, equipped with sophisticated microcircuits, able to intake 30,000 bytes of information per microsecond. Turbocycle equipped with hydro-injected rocket engine. Dual missile launcher and titanium belted tires. Converts to stationary battle emplacement armed with rocket bomb launcher. Interesting. Then we look over here at his stats. It lists his strength as 7, his intelligence is 8, his speed is 6, his endurance is 7, his rank and courage are both 9s, his firepower is 8, and his skill is 6. Now, this is one thing I have a problem with on the changeover. It lists his skill as a 6 now, whereas on the original toy, his skill was a 9. So, in the process of becoming an Action Master, has Prowl deteriorated as a strategist? Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Prowl? This is going to be a slight stretch for me, but I'm going to put Prowl in the middle tier. The toy's certainly nothing really to get excited about to put him in the top tier. But it's also not bad enough, really, to be in the bottom tier. I mean, the biggest thing that does help reinforce the bringing of this toy back is the fact that Prowl was taken off of the toy market in 1986. We have not had a version of Prowl since 1986. So to bring him back was definitely something worthwhile doing, as Prowl was considered by many to probably be the next in line of command after Optimus Prime. So, such a high-ranking and obviously important figure definitely needed to be brought back into the canon. The turbo cycle itself, it's not bad. It certainly could be better, but it could also be a lot worse. It does help that Prowl and any other Action Master can ride it pretty well, so it does have that going for it. The gun emplacement mode, again, it's okay. It certainly could be better, but it could also be a lot worse, too. That's always the thing with the emplacement weapons that this series of the Action Masters became. Their battle weapon mode was oftentimes a stretch to see it being of real use and value. But we will give Prowl some credit for his, as at least his did have the ability to hold on to a couple of other guys, and they would be semi-protected by the wall around them, so it does have that for display purposes. Whether that really worked out well for play value, that's another story. But then you also factor in the toy is rather fragile. And of course, all this white on it is just begging to be impossible to find a mint sample. I consider myself lucky that mine here is in as good of shape as it is. Despite this not being one of mine, this was not one of my toys growing up. This one I bought as a collector. So I'm lucky to have him in as good a shape. But yeah, all in all, I'm going to put him in the middle. He's got some good points, but there's also a lot dragging him down. Especially the case in point, like I mentioned there on his tech spec, his skill went down. So it's like, what's up with that? Why did he get worse as a strategist, becoming an action master? Unfortunately, there's not enough data to tell us anything on that, and that unfortunately I think hurts Prowl the most. Not becoming the action master, but the fact that it made his stats suffer because of it. And that concludes my review of the 1990 Autobot military strategist Prowl and his turbo cycle. If you liked the review, please leave a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below so you can join up within our ranks. And please also ring the notification bell so you'll be notified as future videos get posted. Please also share your thoughts about Prowl, either the original or this Action Master version, in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701, and as Prowl gets ready to head down the highway with Ponch, I'm going to say I'll catch you all later.